Joe Zarzaur here with Dr. Malone to give another update on the COVID-19. We're here today, January the 11th, and we're, obviously 10 months now into this COVID stuff. And I felt like it might be necessary to come back and have Dr. Malone talk to us about some things that are going on the vaccine front. First of all, I wanted Dr. Malone to give us an update as to where we are locally with the vaccine administration. I think there was a sort of a tier stepped process that prioritized the, I guess, at-risk people first, the older at-risk people and the healthcare practitioners in the first tier. Dr. Malone, are we still in that first tier of administration here locally?
We are, and from what I'm able to gather, it sounds like we'll be there for the next at least a week, maybe 2 weeks. So locally here, the healthcare facilities are not just the hospitals, but the independent freestanding facilities are gaining access to the vaccine for vaccination of their personnel that are frontline workers, if you will, in the healthcare field. So that's nurses, doctors, but even some of the care techs, people that come in contact with patients. And it's not even acutely ill, it's in doctors' offices, nurses' offices, and clinics, things like that.
All right, so if you're 65 or 70 years old and you don't have, and you're not in a facility, are you in the first tier or the second tier?
So that's like the second part of the first tier, I would say.
Okay.
So what I was, the next addition to the healthcare workers is the 65 and older population. And that's all comers. And in fact, in Escambia County, you don't even need to be a resident of the county. You get online to the county portal, which we can go ahead and link, and you fill out, it's like a 5-page SurveyMonkey question, or 5-item SurveyMonkey questionnaire. And you are either put on a waiting list and they contact you back, or you're given an appointment time. And locally here, there's one in Escambia County at Olive Baptist and one in Santa Rosa County, I believe, in Milton Community Center.
Right. What I'm hearing, though, is that people are doing that SurveyMonkey, they're getting on a list, and they're not hearing anything back in several days. So do you know anything about what's the process after they get on the list? Is somebody actually monitoring that list? Are they communicating with these people to give them updates as to what their place is in line and all that, or not?
I don't have any firsthand experience on that. I do know that a couple of individuals that I've heard of that have used that and have gotten appointment times, have gone over and gotten in and gotten out pretty efficiently for their vaccination. So I can dig into that a little bit more. We can go ahead and share.
We're going to put that link again underneath this video. The link to the SurveyMonkey is, I guess that's the company that actually sponsors or hosts the portal for this request for the vaccine. Have you actually read the questions that they asked?
Yeah, it's, are you a healthcare worker or not? Yes or no. And then are you general population? Yes or no. And then are you over the age of 65? And I think there's like one other question about a contraindication to any vaccination. And then, to the best of my understanding, the people that have gotten in with an appointment, you get an appointment while you're on there or shortly thereafter, and then people that get waitlisted get notified as such. Now,
Publix was also doing their own vaccination program in 4 or 5 counties in Central Florida. I think the closest one to here was Ocala. They're not doing anything locally, but did you hear that Publix was offering in certain counties in Florida their own website invitation for the same level, I guess, tier 1, 1A candidates for the vaccine?
Yeah, and so they're down in those counties, they're starting to do what our hospital system, Baptist and Sacred Heart, are doing up here, where they're the steward of the vaccine, and their duty is to get it out and get it out effectively. So they're going through a very similar process that you're hearing up here as far as getting a survey or getting on a wait list to get people there.
Very good. Okay, well, specifically, I wanted to talk about 3 things. One, I wanted you to bring us up to speed on where we are county-wise. I can tell you this morning I was in a hearing with a judge in Santa Rosa County, and Santa Rosa County's courthouse had to be somewhat shut down today because of the spike they're having over there. The administrative judge in Santa Rosa County, Judge Simon, felt like it might be better for the courthouse safety for that. I don't know whether he shut the entire courthouse down or just sent the jurors home or didn't have jurors, but he certainly said that there's been a spike over there and that they are concerned that things are headed in the wrong direction after Christmas and New Year's. So what are you hearing on the numbers in Santa Rosa and Escambia County?
So I'll pull this up just as a graphic while we're talking, but as far as the Santa Rosa numbers, their gross numbers are lower than ours. This is our publication as of yesterday afternoon. The gross numbers are lower than ours, but across the board, all of these are, it looks like, oh yeah, we've had a couple of low numbers in there. Well, the low is still 100. And, if you remember back in June and July, we were afraid if we got to 100. So we still have a large number. Santa Rosa County is still in the 200 range. And that percentage positivity is where we've stabilized. And I'll just add that if you see that 52% on there, that was basically statewide, and that was right after Christmas. And the Florida Department of Health put out a notice that is basically because there was really no testing during Christmas Day. So the percentage positivity of those small amount of tests was high. So it's an outlier.
So we're looking at the numbers percent positive for which county?
This is Escambia County right now, okay. And Santa Rosa is on average about 5 or 10 points higher than Escambia County any given day. And I can pull that up if you do. And
what is the, if you could, what is the hospitalization numbers for Escambia County? Do we have that?
Yeah, we do. I can pull that up here for you. So I keep my own spreadsheet on this, but we'll show people here. Let's see here. Get over to it. Apologies. So here we go. So on the far left column is the total number of tests that were done, that were negative, then positive, percent positive. And then I have hospital beds available as of Friday was 268 in our county. And then ICU beds available 16 in our county, 22 as of Saturday, 17 as of this morning. And then 142 ventilators, the next column over. So that's where we're at as far as Escambia availability. I can tell you Santa Rosa County ICU availability as of this morning was 8, which is really where they've been lingering between 7 and 9 for the last couple of weeks, actually, pretty static.
Right.
One concerning number that I noticed on here is just following the trends is between Friday and Saturday, our deaths in our county went from 405 to 413. So wow. We had 8 deaths in a 24-hour release period. So that's never, a good thing to see. But, and again, this is grim, but when you see that 405 to 413 jump in deaths, you also see 16 to 22 jump in ICU bed availability. So you have to wonder if the people that are dying are leaving ICU beds open then.
Right.
And I have no evidence of that. It's just one of those things when you watch the numbers, I've seen that multiple times throughout tracking this thing. I've been tracking it since March. Right. So
if you had to put it in perspective since March, where are we? Are we still within the worst part of this locally?
As far as the numbers and the percentage positivity, yes. As far as what we know and the tools that are available to us, as far as treating people that do get sick and all that, no. So I guess it's how you take it. One thing that I guess I'm hopeful of is every time we take a little link out of that chain with vaccination, whether it be frontline worker or someone who's over the age 65, anytime you take that link out of there, hopefully transmission goes down globally. So it's rising tide lifts all boats, you would think.
All right. So that's the local part of this video. I also want to talk about the variants. There's 22 variants that have been identified. I don't know if that's 22 people.
No, 22 cases.
22 cases of variant COVID-19 in Florida, 32 in California, which is the next highest state.
Yep.
And I believe spread out all over the country, there's 1 or 2 here and there in different states. But between us and California, we account for most of the variant cases that have been diagnosed. Is that right?
Yeah, there's really only like 10 other cases in the rest of the country and this is the variant that you've heard of from the UK, the B117. If you've seen it in the news, it's the number they're calling it, the nomenclature. But yeah, Florida had one of the first cases in the States that came positive, and the guy recovered apparently. They tracked him and made news. But since then, there's 22 cases in our state. And
so if you get the variant, Dr. Malone, why is that significant?
Well, and that's why I pulled this up. This is a CDC release. The only thing that we know that's significant right now is that it spreads more easily. As far as the illness it causes, your ability to recover and your ability to treat for it, as well as your ability to vaccinate against it. To the best of our knowledge right now, there's no difference, which is all, I guess, good news. If you want to take that as good news, it could be worse.
Okay.
So
Somebody watching this, why do they care that there's a variant? Why does that matter to them? Is it just because if they come in contact with somebody that has the variant, there is a lot greater chance they could become infected?
yeah, exactly. So, comparing how we interact with one another from a year ago, we're obviously a lot different than we were a year ago. Well, now it's almost like you got to be even more extreme in how different you are, knowing that there's transmission rate is potentially 70% greater.
Right.
So that's the part that's scary. The other thing that they're finding is that some of these variant cases, again, there's not a lot of them. There's 60 or 70 in the country. The variant cases that they're finding, just the how extreme the illness is not as extreme as what we had before the variant. So I don't know what the other variables there were, like the age of the individuals who got infected, any of their other illnesses that they were dealing with, but they're finding that it's a less severe illness when you do get this infection with the variant. So that may be their silver lining.
All right. The other thing we're going to link up to is an article you found late last week that COVID-19 immunity may last up to years, I guess, in some people that are affected. Explain.
Yeah, so it was based off of a study that was published last week in the journal Science, and we'll pull that up here and we'll link it as we always do. I'm having trouble here with it. But then the article itself basically says that this gentleman that did the study found that, and everybody is I guess programmed to this point where we think antibody, like I need the antibody. If I don't have the antibody, I can't be immune to this. Well, the antibody is a small part of our immune response to something. So when your antibodies levels go away, they're thinking that you have your memory T cells and other parts of this whole cascade that can wake back up and then release more antibody. And they're finding that the features of the coronavirus that they've studied are similar to a lot of the other viruses that you ever grew up and you said, oh, there was a teacher in our family and she was exposed to every virus in the world and she eventually never got sick anymore because she had immunity. They're finding that this is similar to a lot of those kinds of immunity where it can last for a decade. We obviously don't know that because it's not been around long enough, but it's similar to a lot of the other coronaviruses. The one that we're dealing with, COVID-19, is just one coronavirus. There's hundreds that we've had them, they've been around for eons. So they're finding that a lot of the features are the same and a lot of the other parts of the cascade apart from the antibody response, the T cells and the memory cells are gonna remember and elicit help against getting infected. So if 2 years from now, COVID-19 is still around and I had the vaccine or I had the illness, yeah, I may have the vaccine may want to infect me, but it's not going to be able to, or it's going to be very mild compared to the original illness. So it was reassuring when I saw that, and we'll share that article for you. But I just caution people to think that it's more than just the antibody. The antibody is a good part of it, but there's many other parts to your body's immune response. Okay.
So there's a lot of data that's coming out. All of it sounds encouraging, or at least most of it sounds encouraging. So that's good news. Everybody needs to continue being vigilant with the masking and distancing until we're way out of this, way past, I guess, tier 3 it was, where the general population has received the second dose of the vaccine, which I think we estimated to be sometime around midsummer, late summer. I don't know if that has been pushed back at all or not, but we will continue to update you all with Dr. Malone's help on any significant developments in the COVID-19 stuff here locally. We're trying to find the stories that would benefit the local community more from a information perspective. You can get plenty of information, obviously, from the web, but we're going to link you up to the studies that we talked about today. If you have any questions about this, you can find us on the web at zarzaurlaw.com, or you can call us at 855-HIRE-JOE. Thank you, Dr. Malone.
Thank you.